please. I can see that we have quite a number of people joining us. Over 100 now. We'll just give it 1 minute before we kick off to make sure that we've got as many people here as possible who've registered for the event. Just as everyone's joining, before we get started, it would be amazing to know whereabouts everyone's joining us from in the world. So please do share in the chat function your name and your country, and what your current role is within the movement, whether you're a volunteer, a Girl Guide or Girl Scout, or you used to be a Girl Guide or Girl Scout. Lovely. So I think we will get started because we've got lots of amazing young women to hear from today. So my name is Seren. I am the fundraising manager at WAGGGS, and I'm so happy to be with you all here today. A very big welcome to everyone who's joining us for our special WAGGGS International Women's Day celebration. It's great to have so many of you with us. We've had over 700 people from 50 countries register to attend this event today, so an incredible turnout. We've come together today to hear from some amazing young women. Some will be talking about their leadership journeys with Girl Guiding and Girl Scouting, and others will be sharing the biases that they have faced as women and how they've overcome and challenged these biases. The one thing all our speakers today have in common is that they are all breaking the bias to help create a more equal world for girls and young women. And I hope that all event participants today will join us in making their commitment to breaking the bias. Again, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. Please do let us know what biases you will be committing to break today. Very importantly, we're all here to raise funds for International Women's Day, and in particular, the WAGGGS Juliet Low Seminar, our flagship leadership event taking place in December this year, which takes young women on a truly life-changing leadership journey. Juliet Low Seminar attendees have gone on to be CEOs, chair of the WAGGGS World Board, change makers in their own lives and their communities. This year, the Juliet Low Seminar will give 500 young women from at least 85 WAGGGS member organisations the chance to attend the seminar, reaching 50,000 girls through the 100 Girls Project. This is the impact the Juliet Low Seminar can have with your donation today. If you feel inspired by the young women that you'll be hearing from and want to make a donation towards the next generation of leaders, then a link will be posted in the chat function for you to be able to make your donation via our fundraising platform. And just finally, a little bit of housekeeping before we start. The event will be an hour and a half long. If you have any questions for our speakers, please do add them to the chat box as we go through the event, and our speakers will do their best to answer them. Any we can't answer will be answered via email in a follow-up for the event. This webinar today is also being recorded, and the link will be shared with you all following the event. Now, she needs no introduction, but I'm very happy to have with us today Anna Segal, WAGGGS Chief Executive, who would also like to say a few words and welcome you to this event. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you very much, Seren. Well, it's wonderful to be here with all of you today. It's great to have so many of you here from all around the world. One of the nice things about all of this online sessions, which are not as much fun as in person, but we have more than 200 people already from all 5 WAGGGS regions and all around the world. So I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome those of you who are Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, those of you who are from the movement, volunteers, guides or scouts, supporters of WAGGGS. I'd especially like to thank our friends from the Olive Baden Powell Society and our friends groups who provide crucial support to WAGGGS and the Girl Guidance Girl Scout movement every year and who've done such a terrific job also during the difficult time of COVID to provide even more support for this terrific organisation that makes such a difference in the lives of girls and young women. I wanted to just say, for me, International Women's Day has been something that I've celebrated probably for more years than I care to remember. And I think it's important to just say what we do it for. And I think, firstly, we do it because we want to celebrate and reflect on the progress that's been made in women's rights, defending women's rights and promoting women's rights. And secondly, we need to remember there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot that needs to be done to ensure that girls and young women enjoy the same benefits and opportunities as boys and young men. So thank you to everybody who's here with us today in the work that you do in your own lives as volunteers, as guides and scouts, and as donors and friends of the movement. I wanted to say, as was mentioned before, we're also fundraising today towards the Juliet Low Seminar. We've made an amazing step already in fundraising. We have had donations from over 600 donors, and we've received over £90,000. So I just really want to highlight that for everybody. It's an amazing achievement. And thank you very much to all those who have donated or who have made these donations possible. I want to just say, enjoy the session as well. There's lots of fun activities. There's really going to be really interesting talks from the young women who you can see on the screen. So enjoy, participate, ask questions. This is your day and our day. And then I just wanted to quickly introduce Glenda Slingsby, who is the Engagement Director for International Women's Day and also Director of Aurora Ventures. As you know, WAGGGS is a charity of choice for this International Women's Day, as we have been now for many years. So I would like to just pass back to Seren, who will hand over to Glenda. Thank you.
Sorry, I can see we've got no sound for this. Just 1 second and we will start this video from again with the sound for you all. Thank you for bearing with us. I think just while we get the sound, sorted, I will jump forward a little bit and would love to introduce Jen Barron. Some of you may know Jen. She's been a WAGGGS volunteer, staff member, Olive Baden-Powell Society supporter for a number of years now. And Jen is currently the WAGGGS Leadership Event Lead and is working directly on the Juliet Low Seminar. Jen will be leading an activity for us all, and then later on we will introduce Glenda to share her message. Over to you, Jen.
Hello, everybody, and happy International Women's Day from Australia, where I am at the moment. I'm going to be sharing an activity with you based on the theme of International Women's Day, Break the Bias. this is a demonstration of the kind of activity that we would do at the online Juliet Low Seminar that will be held in December this year. And always when we do WAGGGS online learning, we need to use non-formal education methods. So even though we're in this formal box together, we're going to try for some non-formal education. So that means that I need you to interact with me in this activity. So if you're a person who knows how to use the emojis on Zoom, you can use emojis to react to the questions that I'm going to ask. But if that's a little technical for you and maybe you don't even know what an emoji is, no problem. You can use the chat function and respond to the questions that I'm going to ask. If you don't know how to do either of those things, no problem. Enjoy the activity anyway. So I'm going to ask a series of questions, and as I ask each question, the challenge is to react in a way that is based on your immediate reaction, as opposed to reacting in the way that you think you should react. So let's have some feeling reactions based on what immediately comes to you when you hear these questions. Are you right to share the presentation, Cal? So when you're ready. Are you good, Cal? Or should I just ask the questions, Cal?
Got it. Here we go.
Oh, you good? Okay. Thank you. All right, beautiful. Your internet's being nice and slow today. All right, beautiful. So go to the next slide. Here's the first question. Cleaning is a girl or a boy thing? Please pop your answers in the chat or do an emoji. All right, we're going to be quick and fast here. Next question, Cal. Oh, other way. Cooking is a girl or a boy thing? Remember to react from your immediate response, not necessarily what you think I want to hear. All right, next one. Rescuing is a girl or a boy thing? And the next one, Cal. Computer programming is a girl or a boy thing? Lots of boths coming up in the chat. Next one, Cal. Being a senior manager is a girl or a boy thing? Next one, Cal. Glitter is a girl or a boy thing? No, somebody said nobody. I love that reaction. And the next one. Burping and farting is a boy or a girl thing? Beautiful. All right, next slide, Kel. So now let's just have a look at the difference between the explanations of gender and sex. And so when we talk about gender, we talk about our socially constructed roles, behaviours, expressions of identities of girls, women, boys, men, and gender diverse people, as opposed to sex, where we talk about the biological attributes of humans and animals. So I'm going to ask you now to think about your gender and something in relation to your gender. So when I'm talking about gender, I'm talking about these socially constructed roles and behaviours. So next slide, Kel. So have you had sometime in your life a gender light bulb moment? By this, I mean a time when you became aware that you were being treated differently because of your gender. For example, not being allowed to play a particular sport, not being able to play with a particular toy. And I see that everybody's writing yes, even today, into the chat. That's great. If you can pop your examples in there, that would be amazing. If you could just write a quick sentence about something that happened to you when you had a light bulb moment, when you realized that you were being treated in a particular way because of your gender. So if we were in the Juliet Low Seminar, and if we had time to, we would unpack these gender light bulb moments in a little more detail by asking the following questions. So next slide, Kel. So you might like to think about these questions after the webinar today. So how do gender stereotypes impact on our everyday life? How can we challenge these stereotypes? And what can we do to take action as Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, or as supporters of the movement? So this is just a demonstration of how we might approach the Breaking the Bias hashtag as part of the Juliet Low Seminar. Thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to the rest of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen, for that activity. I hope you all enjoyed seeing everyone's different examples and ideas, and it's really interesting to see how much different they were from the people participating all over the world. So I'm now going to be handing over to Claire Marie Pepper, who's going to be our facilitator for today. Claire has been a Girl Guide for over 10 years, and she recently joined the Olive Bacon Powell Society as a young member. Now, Claire, over to you to start our event.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this special event on this special day. I'm Claire Marie, your facilitator, and I am a member of Girl Guides Australia. I have had the opportunity to be involved in many different WAGGGS platforms, so I'm excited to be here facilitating this event. Outside of guiding, I'm a proud woman in STEM forging my way in the world. I cannot wait to share the amazing stories our panel have for you today. The theme of International Women's Day this year is breaking down the bias, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, recognizing the contribution of women and girls around the world who are leading the charge on climate change adaptation, mitigation, and response to build a more sustainable future for all. As spoken about before, WAGGGS is fundraising for the Juliet Low Seminar, one of its flagship leadership events that helps turn young women into leaders. It first began in 1932 and has continued to shape women into change makers, showing them the value and potential they have within this world. The seminar has evolved over the years, where in 2019, a new hub model was piloted with 18 hubs across different countries, all occurring at the same time, allowing the opportunity for even more girls and young women to participate, creating even bigger change and a larger impact. I would like now to introduce our speakers for this event. They will also introduce themselves a bit further. So our first speaker is Stella Lukwago from Uganda. Take it away, Stella. You're on mute.
A good day to everyone. It's good afternoon in Uganda. My name is Stella Nakawuki Lukwago, a member of Uganda Girl Guides Association. I'm a social innovation consultant and mentor. I'm happy to be with you all online. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella. Next, we have Nadira Al-Hati from Oman.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everybody from Oman. I'm Nadira Al-Harthi. I'm a head of Girl Guides in Oman. Happy to be with you here in this special day. I'm an athlete and I love climbing mountains and working with the Omani guides. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Sina Jensen from Denmark.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today. As stated, my name is Sina Jensen. I'm from Denmark. I am 25 years old, and out of those 25 years, I've been a Girl Scout for 20 of them. So it's been a part of my life, all I remember. I'm currently studying a Master's of Law, and my journey with WAGGGS started at the 2019 European Conference and later on 2019 GLS experience. Since then, I have become a Deputy International Commissioner of Denmark, and that ended in 2021. And now I am a youth delegate to the UN on gender equality and sexual and reproductive health and rights.
Amazing, thank you. Next, we have Lucy Nahoma from Malawi.
Thank you very much. My name is Lucy Nahoma. I am a guide leader from Malawi Girl Guides Association. I joined the girl guiding movement as a young leader about 10 years ago and quickly appreciated its principles, that is the guide promise and the guide law, and then its approaches of how it teaches. Of course, girl guiding looks at the ages and it classifies its membership according to the sections. And that is what attracted me, seeing girls wearing different kinds of uniform and also being delivered to an informal curriculum that was age appropriate. Its approaches includes those that let each member to do as they please, to work as they are. That is including inclusivity of every one of them, to mean that they let people to do their way on their way, my path, my pace, and also the fun way, being creative of learning through games, dances, and all. No wonder the slogan, if it is not fun, it is not girl guiding. So my first girl guiding exposure was the Juliet Low Seminar that was conducted in 2016. Thank you so much to all the supporters here, because I was on a grant. My event fee was paid by Juliet Low supporters. Thanks to you. So the Juliet Low Seminar that I attended really opened up my world of possibilities, opportunities, and achievements. Since then, I have taken up so many different other responsibilities and challenges, which could not just be taken by anyone. I am very resilient and assertive. Professionally, I work as a project manager for Campaign for Health Education, Sanitation and Hygiene, a youth-led organization thriving to campaign for inclusion and achievement of disability rights. Thank you very much, and happy International Women's Day to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Next up, we have Rashira Jaisinher from Sri Lanka.
Aibowan and hello all the way from Sri Lanka, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. I have been a Girl Guide for about 25 years now, and I joined, I'm a late addition to Girl Guides. I joined as a senior guide. They are known as rangers in some countries. And my first international experience was attending the Juliet Low Seminar in 2005, and it literally opened up the world for me. From there onwards, I went on to become a member of the Asia Pacific Regional Committee and also a member of the Membership Growth Committee. And I have held other governance roles within WAGGGS in regional conferences and world conference. Currently, I am working as a senior assistant manager in the depository of the Colombo Stock Exchange.
Thank you. Lucky last but not least, we have Mary May Hubert from Canada.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be speaking here today. As was mentioned, my name is Mary May. I'm from Quebec, Canada, and I am 29 years old. I have been in guiding now for over 20 years, and it has had an immeasurable impact on my life. Over my young adult life as a member of WAGGGS and Girl Guides of Canada, I have been fortunate to take part in many opportunities. I have volunteered at Sangam in India, Pax Lodge in England, and Our Chalet in Switzerland. And I've had the opportunity to also visit Arcabana in Mexico and Kusafiri in Ghana and Uganda. And of course, I have also taken part in my own Juliet Low Seminar. Currently, I am involved in my organization as a leader of Pathfinders and Rangers, who are 12 to 17 years old, as a trainer, and as the National Link Liaison, the young woman who oversees all members across the country ages 18 to 30. In my personal life, I am fortunate to be working for the Canadian Association of Midwives, planning various training and learning opportunities for midwives across the country, all while studying to be a doula in my community.
Thank you everyone for sharing. This with International Women's Day, as said before, we are raising money for Juliet Low Seminar to help turn young women into leaders and help to break down the bias and prejudice. I myself was fortunate enough to participate in the Juliet Low Seminar in 2019, where I attended the Sydney Hub in Australia. I met some amazing, inspiring women from around the world. The seminar really opened my eyes to show me I have the potential inside to be a leader and to, as a woman, to make a difference in the world. The seminar was a catalyst of change where I went back home, I moved towns, I advanced my career, and took on a couple of leadership roles within my member organization. I have not looked back, and I'm ever grateful for the experience and insights. That is just my story. I would like now to invite some of our panel to share their story by giving an overview of their experience when participating in Juliet Low Seminar. First off, I'd like to ask Mary May to share her experience.
Thank you, Claire. I've had quite an amazing JLS journey. So I attended my first Juliet Low conference in Ghana in 2016 as a participant. I actually met Lucy there, who is also speaking today. During the event, my eyes were open to a world of opportunities, both in guiding and outside of it. I made invaluable friendships, including meeting my now best friend, Shelby, whose influence and support is immeasurable in my life. I learned new ways of leadership and was inspired to share my learnings everywhere I could. This opportunity started my journey with WAGGGS. Following this, I was given the opportunity to be trained as a Juliet Low Seminar facilitator in Uganda. Here I was trained on the new leadership model and again made amazing new friends. In 2019, I was chosen to facilitate at the Poland JLS Hub. Sina was actually one of my participants, and I am beyond proud and inspired to be speaking with her here today. Finally, I have recently been chosen to be a part of the core JLS team planning for 2022. I'm really excited I'll get to work along Jen Barron. I feel fortunate to have been involved in so many levels and to circle around and use my learnings and knowledge to help create new leadership opportunities for new amazing young women in WAGGGS.
Thank you, Mary May. It's amazing to see how you went from participant to facilitator and beyond. Amazing. Next up, I'd like to ask Rashira to share her story.
Thank you, Claire. So I participated in the 2005 Juliet Low Seminar in Pax Lodge. And believe it or not, that was literally just 2 weeks or maybe just about 12 days after the 2004 Asian tsunami that struck here in the Boxing Day. And this is what is great about guiding, is that this was 2005 was before the explosion of social media and internet, way before WhatsApp and everything. I don't think Zoom even existed. But when people came to me, they knew I was coming. There were 47 or 48 of us. They brought clothes, they brought donations to the victims of the tsunami in Sri Lanka. And that was the big, I mean, for me, that was the highlight of that event. They didn't even know who I was. They hadn't even seen me. And so that was the highlight of it. And it was an amazing experience. And I'm grateful because I was fully funded, and I'm so grateful to all the friends groups who are out there giving opportunities like that. And like I said before, it just opened up the world. I mean, for the last, I don't know, 17 years, it's just taken me over, I mean, even ending up chairing the World Conference last year. So that is the limit, it's skies and beyond. Thank you, Claire.
And what a great job you did co-hosting the World Conference. It was amazing. Next up, I'd like to ask Lucy to share her experience.
Thank you very much, Claire. So the Juliet Low Seminar that I attended was in 2016 at Accra, Ghana, the Girl Guiding Center. The theme was Transforming Our World, and indeed for me, it really transformed my world and myself. There was a lot of learning and unlearning. I was introduced to a total different new things, which I did not even think existed. There were so many of us, about 50 participants coming from 30 different countries. I can assure you, Girl Guiding is the only space where you meet as strangers and then you become forever best friends, forever sisters. The refugee simulation game changed my life. I learned to be resilient, to do things without fear, to stand for the truth, and indeed to break the barriers. JLS made me realize that obstacles exist, but should not come on our way to pursue our dream. The seminar gave me wings to fly up high and the realization to several other opportunities, which I just need to unlock. I got to understand that the keys are in my hands and that when the main door is closed, I can even make use of the windows to get to wherever. I have taken up several other leadership positions since then, and not only limited to Girl Guiding space. My mindset changed completely. I developed a need to know and learn everything, quite of becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none, of course, concentrating on one thing. When I went to JLS, I only aspired to become a youth representative chair, which was a role that was mostly taken by youth in my member organization. But when I came back, there I said, here it is. All opportunities are equal. Then why not vie for the highest position? I became the Deputy Chief Commissioner. Really, the sky is not the limit. And professionally, I was just a young college graduate, not ready to fly up high, even at work. I was a junior assistant to an officer. 4 years later, I rose to a managerial role. Of course, I did not skip the ladders. I became a project officer and then a project coordinator. So my rising was because of the courage and motivation that I obtained from the Juliet Low Seminar. Because it gave me all the determination, yes. JLS is forever my powerhouse, full of skills, gave me the energy, the intelligence, and the willpower to coordinate myself and to realize that I can get to anywhere, I can do anything. Thank you very much, JLS. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Very inspiring. Shows how it's just a launch pad for many amazing things to come. Like last, we'll ask Sina to share her experience.
Thank you so much. So my Juliet Low experience was quite unusual to most others. I didn't even know the Juliet Low Seminar existed before 2 weeks prior to it happening. I got a call from my then international commissioner, who said there was this free space, there was funding for it. So thank you for the people who funded the 2019 Juliet Low Seminar. I would never have participated had it not been for that. And she asked me if I could go. And I was like, it's in 2 weeks. But I did it. I dropped everything and I went, and I have never been happier for any situation or decision in my life. Even though the Juliet Low Seminar is simply a week together with 30 others from different cultures and different countries, it is also a project of life. You do afterwards, we did in 2019, a 100 girls project, which purpose was to influence 100 girls when you came back home, to let them learn the leadership skills that we had learned through that week, but also to inspire others to know that they can change the world as we knew that we could after that week. I was so happy to be part of the hub model, the new model that the GLS was going on in 2019. I was in Poland, and together with the amazing Mary May, I became a part of a new family, realizing that no matter our culture, our nationality, our language barriers, we all had this one amazing thing together, which was our belief that as a scout or a guide, you can change the situation, you can change what is prior to you, and you can make the world a tiny bit better with all of your actions. I remember that the conversation about culture, about mindsets, and being challenged on where I was from and what I did and what I took for granted really changed my belief in myself. It changed how I thought and what I could do. And I stopped thinking about barriers and I started thinking about possibilities instead. My WAGGGS JLS experience helped me get an amazing foundation with a lot of other amazing scouts and guides, and that they have brought me to where I am today, being a OBPS young supporter, a UN youth delegate, and just now a nominee for the European Committee this summer. I would never have done that had it not been for these amazing people and for WAGGGS giving me the amazing opportunity to know that you can do more. And that's what JLS do. It lets young girls know that they can do way more than they believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Sina. Very inspiring, and I really relate to the connections made. I too found that they really are life-changing and long-term. Okay, so thank you for sharing your stories, ladies. I would like now to go on to a couple of questions. I want to direct this question at Rashira and Sina. And the question is, as the theme for International Women's Day is breaking the bias, how would you say Juliet Low as an event helps break the bias? I'll ask Rashira to go first.
How does Juliet Low Seminar help to break the bias? Okay, so whatever the biases or the stereotyping that you are up against, first of all, I think we have to realize that we are not alone. And the Juliet Low Seminar is one way to know that you are not alone, because you get to meet, interact with people of similar ages. They may come from different parts of the world. They may have grown up in different cultures, different religions, and so on. But we would have gone through the same experience, maybe different aspects of the same experience, but they would have gone through something quite similar. So there is this opportunities, ample opportunities during those weeks, those days within that week to talk to each other, share experiences, even brainstorm. How can we deal with this? How can we go forward from here? How can we break this down? You know, so Juliet Low, by bringing together people around the world, girls and young women from around the world, really does help. So you can share it, and then you can get confidence when you listen to others who have gone through it, and you listen to it almost one-on-one, you know, then you get confidence, and then you can start that thought process. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it, or probably this will work for me too. Oh, you know, I didn't know you went through that. That might work for me as well. Or I need to think like this. So all that will help. And I have to add something. Since the Juliet Low Seminar that I attended, something that I see WAGGGS has done is that there is a toolkit, a resource for almost every issue that affects Girl Guides everywhere or Girl Scouts everywhere. There's toolkits on nutrition, about surfing smart, which is so important today, about the leadership mindsets and so on. So there are these toolkits and resources that you can make use of. Go online and read, practice them at Juliet Low Seminar. I'm really encouraged by what Jen just shared about the resources about gender stereotyping and so on. So that is how Juliet Low Seminar breaks down. And I know it's being taken to another level this time, having 500 girls online. You know, you have virtual space also to share, you know, and like many people have shared, the connections are long lasting. They are beyond the Juliet Low Seminar. So yeah, thank you.
Very, yeah, ever adapting and ever growing. Thank you. Sina, how would you respond to that question?
I was thinking today, what specific bias would I like to break? And I think I would like all of you listening to make that thought yourself. Like if you had to choose just one thing, what would you want to break? And to me, the answer I came up with was the idea that women and girls has to hide away their imperfections. And I have to be honest, until the point that I participated in the Juliet Low Seminar, this took up a lot in my life. Like whenever you were looking a certain way or you had a sit or something, you would cover it up. Or if you acted some way that wasn't perfect, you would feel guilty or shameful. And these things, I realized at my Juliet Low Seminar, was not healthy. It's not a good way to think. And my Juliet Low experience helped me to realize that in spite of our cultures, in spite of our nationalities, our language, our beliefs, our religion, we are all just human beings with imperfections. And we talked a lot about this at my Juliet Low Seminar. And I remember the first day coming there. I come from a co-educational association. But the first day I met this amazing Australian girl, and this was her first ever event participating boys, because we had boys at our co-educational hub. And I remember that being such a big barrier for her to push through, but we all held together, we talked about it out loud. And having that safe space created by these amazing volunteers where you can talk about things that you wouldn't talk about back home, and you can talk about how this impacts not just you, but all women and all girls, all people, no matter where they come from, what their gender is. That is what Juliet Low Seminar does so very well. And being able to take that back home with you as well. I still to this date have conversations with my co-participants from Juliet Low Seminar. Just now with the Ukraine situation, we had a participant from Ukraine, and we've all been in contact with her, helping her friends. We have participants from Poland who's taking in refugees because of that connection. And that's what the Juliet Low Seminar does. It gives you an amazing connection to other people from other states in life. And it also pushes you to think differently. It pushes you to realize that just because you've grown up a certain way doesn't mean that you found all the solutions. I'm thankful enough to grow up in a very evolved and a very high level community. But I also realized that I need to push myself more. Hearing these amazing stories from my co-participant from Uganda on all the things that they did, I was like, what am I really doing? And that pushed you to do more, because just because you are lucky enough to live in a community where you don't have to worry about things like menstruation and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that you don't have to talk aloud and you don't have to push yourself further. And that's what the Juliet Low Seminar does. It makes us all push each other way more than we would originally. So I think, to me, the way Juliet Low Seminar breaks the bias is that it allows us to meet things and subjects that we would never have seen or talked about before. And we talk about them with someone who has way different belief systems or mindsets than we do. And that helps us have a more open mind and be more ready to help others as well. So that's, yeah.
Thank you. That's very, very powerful words there. I'd like to move on to the next question. which I would like to direct towards Stella, Lucy, and Nadira. And the question is, what are the plans for the future to continue combating bias? How has Girl Guides or Scouting helped you on this journey? I'd like to ask Stella to go first.
In 2013, I was given an opportunity to volunteer for WAGGGS at Pax Lodge as an intern for events and programs. And after my internship of 6 months, I go back to Uganda. Already there was a paradigm shift in me. Now, previously, I was very much involved in guiding. I volunteered for Uganda Girl Guides Association for over 10 years. So I already had some bits of me that could really inspire me to be better. But my experience at Pax Lodge, leading events, planning programs, and also seeing things differently from my African perception, I think opened the whole space in my head. And I started asking myself questions, very many questions. So when I go back to Uganda, I leave my own organization and I team up with a German friend of mine to start an organization that was supporting marginalized young youth, young people from different backgrounds, refugees, former sex workers, school dropouts, and all those kinds of people. And over the years, we realized that girls would come into the program, but still very many girls would leave the program and leave it for the boys. So we started asking ourselves, why was this a problem? We really did not know. So last year, I decided, I talked to some friends, I'm like, guys, I think I have a solution for this problem. And I told them I'm going to start a new organization for women and girls only, aged 15 to 45. And this innovation of mine is going to be going to rural communities, tackling, training rural women and girls in social innovation, where they are able to solve their own problems using their own solutions. And in my role as a social innovation consultant and already an innovator, I thought I was better placed. Of course, girl guiding could be in my DNA. Like maybe that's why I choose to do things. That's why I choose to take action steps. I don't just look at a problem and I leave it there. So just last year, I trained over 300 women in social innovation. And out of the 300 women, at least 50 women came up with their own social enterprises that are now actually going to apply for a Catalyst Fund from Canada. And they're, being rural women, they think that they cannot be able to change the world, They think there are people who are different than them who can change their world. So I'm lucky and honored to be, at least with my girl guiding experience, to have been able to impact my experiences and also to share my knowledge and use whatever tool I have to actually create change and inspire and empower rural women, girls and young women to actually be the change they want to see. And for me, I think that is very important because for example, in my organization right now, Innovation on Wheels, everyone is a woman or everyone identifies as a woman, and no one feels like the men have to do anything for them. So it's them or them. And I'm also thinking that this International Women's Day should be celebrated every day, because women and those who identify as women are already doing great things. But maybe they need just someone to spark them, to spark their minds that, look here, you can do this. Look here, you can take a leadership position in your local community if you want anything to change. And I'm happy, I'm a girl guide forever. And because of my girl guiding experience, I'm able to fly into a beautiful butterfly that can also touch the lives of other people in my community to get solutions that can solve their everyday challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Yeah, very true. Giving you the skills to do such amazing things outside of guiding. Wonderful, thank you. I'd like to ask Lucy now about the question, how girl guiding has helped you on this journey to combat bias. Lucy, your go.
Thank you very much, Clay. I would like to share my experience and also the plans that I think can be detrimental to progress the way of breaking the bias. In the Girl Guiding movement, I think the most powerful tool to use is the life skills trainings that we go through, that we teach the young ones with. Looking at the challenges that we have in Malawi, where girls drop out of school because of early pregnancies, because of early marriages, and because of problems like such that are connected to tradition and culture. So from the life skills training, they'll be able to make good decisions. They'll be able to negotiate for a win-win situation where if they're not happy to do an activity, they should be able to raise their hands and say, no, can we do it differently? Or can you wait for me to do it another time? And they can also be able to set their goals, and they can also be able to realize that for one to achieve their fullest potential, their goal and their objectives, they'll need to face it head on besides whatever challenges that they may encounter. So I think the life skills training is a key will to achieving more of breaking the bias. Because the bias in my country comes in because of the patriarchal and masculinity higher field that is there. But then if the girls are knowledgeable and they are resource enough to know what kind of life skills they have and how they can be helped with the life skills, then they can be able to break the bias. And it has also been easy for me to work in such scenarios because I am able to face the girls in their sections. For example, I meet brownies, I transfer to them knowledge or skills that is age appropriate. I meet cadets, I meet young leaders or rangers in the same category, developing and sending a message that will really be beneficial because of how the message is coming to them, and then they get to understand it. And also the embracing of the different culture that is there, where you don't have to come as a destroyer of the culture, but you come to make people understand how it should work and how should it be, so that it is positive for both parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that insight. I'd now like to ask Nadira her response to the question.
I think my plan it will be to attend this Juliet Low Seminar as soon as possible. After all that great stories I heard, I think, and as I'm working ahead of Omani girl guides, I think it's important. I saw from your stories how it's important to let attend more girls on seminars like this. And I saw from the stories how it's helpful, how it's like a dose of strength and confidence, and it's pushed them to believe in themselves, to start what they want, to follow their dreams. And I was like thinking, if I'll attend this seminar when I was preparing to climb Mount Everest in 2019, I think that it will make things shorter for me, because I remember how it was hard for me, how from the training, from people sewing like a girl in Oman, Muslim, doing all this stuff in such an community where they refuse all these things. I think it's what you are giving to our girls in all over the world. It's very important. It's something I'm saying. I wish I went even. I'm old enough, but I said still it's amazing that we have all this platform to give our girls in such something, give them their strength and learn from each other, from different experience. For me, I saw how many people they didn't accept that I'm a planning and I'm a training to climb Mount Everest, and where I start from zero. I never climb mountain. I'm not a mountaineering, but just I want to be a first Omani woman to climb Everest. And because of that, because I was scared, I was not have enough. I was not brave to tell everybody that I want to climb Everest. I kept it secret for 2 years. I was training only between me and my coach, because the dream, it was bigger than me. Even it was, I scared myself by that dream. But the most important, I was scared from the reaction from people. Maybe at that time I don't have that confidence, because it's for myself, it's crazy to just decide go and climb the tallest mountain in the world. But it's I saw, if we have such a great people like you in everywhere doing all this stuff all the time, I think we saw our girls, they are climbing on their own Everest, and everywhere they are achieving what they want. I'm just now feeling that, happy, and I want to go back tomorrow and do more stuff for Omani guides, and push them to attend seminars and programs what they are doing in WAGGGS. So it's amazing. So that's my planning now after what I heard now.
Thank you, Nadira. You have such an amazing story, which we hope to expand more on our next question. So the next question, which I will direct to Nadira and Mary May, is about what biases have you faced, and how can people attending this event help create a world free from this bias? So I think we'll start with Mary May.
Awesome, thank you. So life has definitely been full of biases, from assumptions made because I am a woman and therefore am not entitled to things and experiences, to being assumed as fragile and a stereotypical girl for being a girl guide. It can sometimes be deflating, but in many of my jobs, I have worked in male-dominated fields, working on travel teams for fundraisers, working for a professional soccer team, and working at the Lego store, to name just a few. I remember working for a nonprofit in events. I always chose the hands-on jobs, working on campsites and heavy lifting. To me, they are rewarding and what I'm good at. In the beginning, I was always looked at as small and fragile, given the small tasks, making things pretty, and letting the men do the hard jobs. That is until we had to put up tents, and I was faster and more efficient than anyone on the team. That's definitely thanks to guiding. I always push for the respect I deserve, and although sometimes you may have to put up a harder fight just for being a woman, that fight is worth it, even if it makes it just the smallest bit easier for the next women. So many people, friends included, have judged me for staying in guiding, saying it's just for girls who sing songs, sell cookies, do crafts, all things that, quite frankly, I am terrible at. I like to remind myself of who I am, who I've become because of guiding. I've traveled the world, taken part in once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and helped young women from around the world become confident and strong leaders in their communities. When I'm down or feeling mistreated or undervalued because of my gender, I remember that I've had an impact and will continue to do so no matter what anyone thinks. And I will continue to fight for my space so others feel confident to do so as well. Stay confident in yourself, follow your passions, fight for your space, and hold your ground. You deserve anything just as much as anyone else. Know that no matter what, I support you. I believe in you, and we all do up here. You can break biases and inspire others to do so too. Maybe one day these biases will be a thing of the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary May. Your experience is very relatable to my own and very inspiring at the same time. I'd like to go back to Nadira to share her answer to that question.
I think it's the most bias we have. Maybe for me also, we have circles. We have to be inside that circles, and it's not easy to cross it. It's not easy later on, even when we're grown up, will to go out of the comfort zone, because community, they are building a comfort zones for us, and we have to stay inside that. So others, families or male, they will be feeling that we are safe, but our safety, it's our responsibility. So it's so when we thinking to do something out of that circles of comfort zone, we will find someone fighting us to go back there. So let's cross all those circles. Let's start thinking out of the boxes and being what we want. And so we can respect everything around us by doing what we want and by achieving our dreams. And so even if I'm sure that we all as a woman, we have different challenges, even as a Muslim Arab, even from Europe, from Africa, from China, from everywhere, we have all challenges. It's just different from one woman to other. So let's work on that challenges, and we cross it, not make it bigger. So we stop and we at the same line. Let's cross the lines. Let's cross the circles. That's community. Bring us inside those circles, and we'll see ourselves there.
Wonderful, I agree 100%. We do have a bit more time, so I might direct that question also to Stella.
I would speak from an African perspective. Now in Africa, a woman is seen as something different. Of course, she can give birth, she can cook, she can raise children, but that is even taken for granted. That great work of looking after everyone. As someone said, that if any day women in Africa would just choose to stay home and do nothing, the whole Africa would come trembling. And for me, with my little experience, I've realized that we as women already in some kind of privileged leadership positions, or women who have some kind of power empowered to them, I think we have responsibilities to actually break the biases, to create a rationale for other girls and women who do not have such privileges, like we've been given, I could say, to actually inspire and motivate them and assure them that they are already enough. And they need no permission from anyone to change their world, to be the best they can be and realize their fullest potential as responsible citizens of this world. And in my experience, also working with young women, I've realized even at Social Innovation Academy that the girls who choose to stay in our program end up creating globally recognized social enterprises that go ahead to win global awards. Meaning, I'm not judging those who go away, but I'm saying that those who choose to stay, there is a story, there is something about them that they practice within themselves. Maybe they tell themselves, I have to make it. Maybe they tell themselves that I have to realize my potential. Maybe they tell themselves that I have to give myself the permission to be the best I can be, to support my environment, to benefit my community, and also to be a better person for myself. And it's so many often, the biases are also promoted by women ourselves. I'm not judging anyone, ladies, but sometimes we also enable biases. We also, maybe when they're talking about promotion of a woman in your workplace, sometimes it's us who first have to judge the woman that she's not able. Yet, if it was the other way around, men would hoot for their fellow men to be in position of power. But for us as women, it's also our responsibility to actually hoot for our fellow women, hoot for girls, enable spaces, safe spaces for women and girls to thrive, for women and girls to grow, for women and girls to feel confident that they too can change the world and they do not need any permission from anyone. Yes, thank you.
Well said, Stella. I think I'd like to hand over now to Shrin.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire and Stella, and all of our other incredible speakers that we've had today. And for everyone participating as well, and for everyone that's made a donation so far, or who would like to make a donation to support women like we've heard from today, have their own leadership journeys and learn to continue breaking the bias in their own lives and help others within their own communities to break their own bias. Now, we do have a little bit of time left, and we have had some questions come up in the Q&A, but just so everyone can see the questions, if everyone wants to write any questions that you have in that Q&A function, and then Claire, if you could direct some of those questions to a couple of our speakers, and I'll share the questions that we'll be answering in the chat so everyone is able to read those questions.
Thank you, Rashar and Sina, for answering some of them as well. We've got quite a few coming through, actually.
Brilliant. So I'm just adding one here into the main chat that we've had. So Claire, if you're able to direct some of our speakers to answer that one.
I can, it doesn't disappear on me. Let me see. Okay, so the question is, how can we use the membership of WAGGGS to recruit and retain young members in our organisations across the world? That is a really, really good question. I'd like to maybe direct this one to Sina.
Thank you. I did try to answer it as well in the chat box, so you can look there as well, but I will do it orally. Thank you. I think to me, WAGGGS is not just about scouting and guiding. Like, you do different things from the age of 6 or 5 up until 18. It's very different activities. It's different from what country you're in. In Denmark, we do a lot of like survival training. In America, you do something different. I think that's the thing, that you can't just say that scouting and guiding in WAGGGS is one thing, and thereby also saying that retaining young members depends on one thing. To me, I think it's about realizing that scouting and guiding is a community. It is a family, and it is to some extent trusting some complete strangers simply on the fact that they are a scout or a guide. I remember sitting in my Juliet Low Seminar at 2 a.m. Because one of our participants had to take an early flight home because of this then situation in Peru. There was a lot of demonstrations and she had to fly home. And I remember us all sitting up and waiting for the guys who drove her to come back. And that just feeling of we're here together and we're waiting for these people to come back, not because we have to, and we all had like things to do in the morning, but that feeling of just sitting together, not talking, but being in the same room, that is what makes me come back to scouting and guiding all the time, is that you can meet someone and 2 days later, they feel like they are your best friends ever. And I think that's the thing about retaining young members in an organization like WAGGGS, is that you have to make them realize it's not about the amazing experiences. It's also about that. But what really keeps people there is knowing that no matter who they are, what they do, if they make mistakes or if they are successful, there's always room for them and they will always have friends there. I think it's just knowing that it's such a safe space and you can always come back and you can find a new group of scouts somewhere completely different, even though you move to another country, and they will take you in immediately simply on the account that you are a scout or a guide. And I think that is what retains young members in our organization, is them knowing that.
Thank you. That's a really good response. Yeah, I think we're in that young ages and looking for a connection. And I think guiding and scouting provide that connection, that sort of extra family that they need during that time of life. Okay, let's have a look at some other questions. Some good ones coming through.
There's one really good question that's come through as well in the Q&A. I'm just going to add that one to the chat. So
Wonderful, thank you.
Question.
I love that one as well. Some really great questions. So the question is, any efficient tips to be more open-minded, to encourage everyone to become braver to speak up for their rights? Wow. Okay, I could ask all of you that question because you all would have a different answer, an amazing answer. I might direct this one to Rashira.
Efficient tips. I don't know whether my tips are efficient, but sometimes taking the plunge tend to help. I'm not sure how helpful that is. Because speaking your mind requires a lot more courage than anyone would ever credit you for. And you know, you're scared. I mean, am I going to be accepted after that? What will people think? Will I lose my friends? Will I lose my family if I'm going to, you know, or be open-minded and all? My answer is, of course, to know what you are speaking about, maybe think about it one more time before you actually just blurt it out. Maybe speak to somebody who can help you with it. Because if you really look, you can find somebody, you know, you may find it might be a teacher, it might be a colleague, a working colleague, you know, that. But sometimes you just gotta say it out loud. I mean, there's no other way to work around it, you know. So just blurt it out and face the consequences. As long as it's not violent, I'm sure you can face it. And you knowing your situation very well, I'm sure you will have the courage to do that. Was it helpful, Claire? I don't know. I hope it was helpful.
I think, yeah, we're often brave, very timid about speaking our voice. Go back to that platform. So I think we need to speak up more, definitely. I'd also like to direct this one to Nadira, because you've faced a lot of challenges and overcome them amazingly. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this question.
When I talked to my family that I want to go to Everest, that was before only 2 months when I already booked everything. So my mom, she didn't talk to me for 1 month, but at the same time, it's not easy to be brave and to speak about what we want. But as you believe in yourself and as you believe in your dream or what you want, when you committed people or who's around you, they will see that you are serious, you're not playing, you're not just spending time, you really want that thing what you do. So also I think they will start to be acceptable. It's not easy to convince them, to make them happy for what we want. Sometimes they will never be happy of what we want, but they will be acceptable and they will be more understand what for our needs. So I think our parents, at the general, we will respect them, respect how they are thinking. They are from, like, there is in different generations. So it's also not fair sometimes to just jump on new ideas and crazy ideas. We want to do it and we ask them just to clap for us and encourage us. So it takes time, it takes conversations once and twice and third, and even if they will refuse, I was always going back and back to my mom and ask her to just to be happy. She said, I will never be happy that you are going to Everest, but I will pray for you and I will think about you and I will wait you to come back safe.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, parents are one of those support systems that we still need, regardless whether they agree with what we do or not. But we've got to, be brave at the end of the day and put ourselves out there. So a wonderful response. Thank you. Did we have any more questions coming through?
We've probably got time for one more question. We've had a few good ones coming through in the chat. There's one that is directed straight to Nadira, but I think something which we're all very, very keen to hear the answer to. It says, I love how you spoke about the lives of Muslim girls as well as everything else that you spoke. But do you have any tips for those who want to climb Mount Everest one day?
That's an important question.
I think it's mountains is there for everybody, and it just need a strategy. It need the hard work, because it's a big dream, and it's dangerous also. So it's for me, Everest, it was my first mountain in my life. It's first summit I climbed. So what I did, I think anyone can do it also. So just to start there from the beginning, start right, read about it, learn how to climb mountains, how to be an athlete, how to improve yourself, your abilities, and stay strong, even emotionally and physically. It's very hard, because sometimes I went back from my training and I'm just crying in my car, because it's hard. I was running for long distance alone, nobody with me, nobody support me. So it's very hard. If we want to do something, we shouldn't wait someone to just say, yes, you're doing great. Just go, be strong, do what you have to do, and you will get it at the end.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nadira. I think that's a very powerful message for us to finish those questions on. And thank you all for bearing with us while we tried to fix our sound problem from earlier. We do have a video recorded from Glenda, who's our partner for International Women's Day, which we're going to try once again to play for you today, and fingers crossed that the sound works. And then we'll be handing over to Claire to finish our event for today.
Thank you to WAGGGS for inviting me to be part of your important conversations. These are very certainly challenging times. I congratulate each of you for being part of WAGGGS. What an honor. I'm Glenda Slingsby, and I help coordinate International Women's Day activity globally, for which there's a very long-standing and important relationship with WAGGGS. WAGGGS has been a charity of choice for International Women's Day since 2007, but my own association with WAGGGS goes back many decades. WAGGGS offers incredible direction and support, so how brilliant to be part of something so impactful. WAGGGS fosters a lifelong spirit of tenacity, service, and leadership. And these conversations as part of International Women's Day activity are so important. These conversations will have impact, and what you do as a result will have impact, sometimes even more than you can ever know. You are a catalyst for change. You're brave, selfless, and committed to always be prepared to help others. Each of you has such an important and exciting journey ahead of you. And WAGGGS will support you, WAGGGS will guide you, WAGGGS will be with you every step of the way. You're part of the global WAGGGS community. It stays with you forever. From my own time as a Girl Guide, and much thanks to my courageous team leader, Nagura, and also Naru, I developed understandings, skills, and passion that have truly stayed with me all through my life. For example, I have always tried to help others. I've always pioneered. I have always done what I believe is right. And this certainly has not been easy. And gender equality has been a focus of mine right since the age of 5, as I refused to accept playground patriarchy. And I questioned, collaborated, and organized action in response. This year, for International Women's Day, our focus is on the call to break the bias. But as we all know, there are also further aspects where we can offer our support. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute. And if I may leave you with one thought, it is this: always, always be prepared to live your best life as a Girl Guide or Girl Scout. Be confident in who you are, be strong, and always do what you can throughout your entire life to give back to the WAGGGS movement. That's who we are, and that's what we do. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Glenda, for taking the time to share such a powerful and inspirational message with us all. Now I'd like to hand over to Claire for some final remarks and to close our event today. But thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. Any questions that we've been unable to answer, we will be sharing the answers via email as well as a recording of today's event. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. As you've heard, you've learned the impact that one singular seminar has on young women. That's why we're fundraising for the Juliet Low Seminar. This event empowers girls and young women to become leaders, realize their potential, and to learn to stand up for themselves and do what they believe in. As they say, you can't be what you can't see. Your donation will be greatly appreciated. We will put the link in the chat, or you can see it on my background here. By supporting the Juliet Low Seminar, you'll be helping to give more young women the chance to consistently take the lead in their lives and communities while tackling gender barriers in their leadership. I thank you all for your support and involvement in enjoying this event today. We look forward to sharing with you afterwards how much we have raised. And remember, you have the potential to change one young woman's life today. I hope you can donate if you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and goodbye from myself and from all of our speakers and panelists today, and enjoy the rest of your day.